Hi everybody, Tetanus Risk back with you on this warm summer's day. I waited till it was 30 degrees or about 84 for you guys south of the border to do this. But as you can see, I got this up on jack stands and I'm going to swap out the leaf springs for S10 leaves. Stay tuned. So here they are right here. These are the, I don't know, early 80s, 83 to 90, late 90s, Chevy S10, GMC S15, leaf springs. They're 22-687s, and I didn't get the HD ones. They are available, but I just got 3+1s here. As you can see, bushings already installed. Some paint scraped off them from shipping, but that's the price of getting them here. So I'm not going to film the whole extraction of the old leaves and installation of the new ones. I'm just going to show you things to pay attention to. And I will go quickly across all the basics too, loosening the clamshells and all that. I'll just show you what I did after the fact. So stick around. So first thing I did is I removed the bolt that holds the bracket for the rear splitter. You want some movement here. There's 3 clips. I'm going to loosen the brake lines from the 3 clips. There's one here, there's one right there, and it's also in a clip up at the top of the differential right here, because you got to keep in mind that when you install your springs, your whole rear end is going to be about 3.5, 3 3/4 inches further away from the body. So you want some play in this, and then you're going to have to do something about the added distance between the hole in the diff, threaded hole in the diff, and the hole in the bracket. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my shocks on both sides, because these are going to become useless to me when I put the new springs in. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll come back. I removed the parking brake cable hanger. One bolt way up there, 13 mil, and I took the double bend out of it, so basically stretching it maybe 1.25 inches, making it hang a little lower. I bent it in a way so I got lots of clearance between the fuel tank. I might bend that out of the way even more. It's what, maybe 5/8 of an inch there. Then remove the clamshells on either side. 4 bolts, 2 of them on the U-bolt, and 2 of them on the inside of the clamshell studs right here. You gotta, hammer, get the rust out of there, loosen it up a bit, but it will eventually, the rear end will eventually fall. I bolted the shocks only at the bottom, basically because I'm lazy. So I removed the front leaf bolts on both sides, and basically how I did that was put the power bar on them and a big chunk of square tubing and crack the nuts. And in my case, the bolts did not break, so that was good. I was able to loosen the nut all the way to the end and left it on, so it was just proud of flush with the bolt, and then hammered on it with the piece of square tubing. Then I once the nut was loose, and I thought I was helping to loosen up the bolt, I put the torque driver on with an extension and a universal, and I cracked the bolt free. And then I kept going with the WD-40, and it'll turn right out. You'll have to go, because of limited room to the rocker, you'll have to go with your ratchet next, and then eventually you'll run out of room to the rocker because the bolt comes right out to here. You'll have to get on it with a wrench. So did that, the fronts both sides. Now I'm going to switch to the back. So I got the leaf springs out, and one error I made is I removed the bolts from the front, from the hangers first. I suggest leaving them for last. remove the bolts from the shackles first, because there's a lot of movement, and it'll make cracking the nuts a little easier. So this side was a bear. Driver's side was a little difficult. The bolt didn't want to come out. So due to the limited space between the quarter panel in there, the only thing I could get on to it with is an air ratchet, and lots of WD-40, many applications, keep turning it, knocking the rust out of it. And I had to call on my son, and what I did was he ran the air ratchet, and I got behind the head of the bolt with 14 mil wrench and was yanking on it, and then I'd be pounding on the inside of the wrench trying to loosen it up, and it finally came free. And amazingly, the other side almost fell right out once it was loose. It was like the bolt and nut were installed last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my clamshells. I picked up some like silicone grease to put a little layer on the two isolator pads in the clamshell. I got new bump stops for the diff. I'm gonna install those eventually as well. I'm going to clean the shackle and the hanger up a bit. I'm gonna apply a little bit of lube to the inside of that, and I'm gonna put a little bit of lube. I'm replacing the bolts, actually. I got new ones, but just to show you, I'm gonna apply a little lube just on the smooth part of the bolt. Keep it away from the threads. I'm gonna go with the thread locker on the threads themselves, and I'll come back. Okay, I was just looking at the leaf springs here, and I was comparing the new ones to one of the old ones. And when measuring the arch, what I did is I measured from floor. Now the floor is not perfectly like slate pool table flat in here, but it's pretty close. So from the floor to the underside or top side of the first leaf, I got 8 5/16, and then I subtracted center hole in the bushing to the outside of the eye, and that gave me 7 3/16 arch there. Then I was looking at the old ones, and what I got there, overall height on those in this relaxed position was 5 7/8, and then minus the center of the bushing to the outside of the eye, I got 4 3/4. So that came to about just under 2.5 inches of lift. But I don't know if I'm buying that, because of course the old leaf springs are saggy and they're weak, and with the weight on those, they'll flatten out quite a bit, whereas the brand new ones, I think they'll hold their arch a little better. So that's what the calculations gave me. It's just in theory, it's going to provide 2.4 inches of lift. So, but I'll have to see once it's on the ground. Although I didn't take any wheel arch measurements, I'll just do it by eye, comparing it to old photos, and take a guess. But I'm sure I'll be pretty pleased with this. Oh yeah, the other thing to mention is pack thickness. The old one is 1 3/8, and the new one is 1.5 inches. So due to the rubber isolators like inside the clamshell and below the clamshell, or below the leaf, I'm hoping I can squeeze that extra 1/8 inch. It's only 1/16 of an inch for each rubber. If not, I might put washers under the clamshell on the opposite side from the U-bolts. But I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. It's just something to think about, and I'll wrestle it when I get there. Well, all right, that's done. And look at the rake on that beauty. That's like boogie band style. Back to 1977. Sweet. So some considerations when I was doing the reassembly. I put a bit of silicone grease on, it's starting to rain here pretty good. Silicone grease on the leaf spring bolts, but not on the threads. I also put some on the isolators inside the clamshell. Once I was going to reassemble the clamshells on both sides, I had to get a second jack under the front end of the differential, like just behind the rear universal, to get that nose up a bit and correct the angle, so both clamshells would go into place, aligning the hole in the hole in the clamshell, hole in the top isolator, and the pin that's going through the leaf pack. That all went pretty good. I didn't reconnect the rear brake line splitter yet. Like I said, I wanted to get the wheels on and drop it on the ground because I'm finished for the afternoon here. So that's about it. Leaf springs go in pretty easily. You can just sort of balance them on the rear end and do the front ones first. And when you move to the rear, you have to loosen the rear shackle so you can pivot it forward so you can actually get the bolt in. Other than that, it went pretty slick. So I hope this helps you somewhat, and if you like the content, please subscribe, leave a comment, tell us how you did it, and leave a like, and all is appreciated. So until next time, take it easy, everyone.